he just started ghosting me. And I was like, okay, well, this is what's gonna happen now. So then trying to find his location.
Get the car. I'm like, okay, well, why don't you just like bring, so we brought two tow trucks at the end, and he still was like gonna drive off, and like, this is just gonna be unsafe, you know. Someone's gonna get hurt. So I was like, I don't want to get sued on this. So we eventually got it, but this guy for 3 weeks kept the car on this. We've never had somebody do this.
Damn. Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. All right, guys, here with Jose Moreno and Demario McCowan, car rental experts. 177 cars, guys. That is impressive.
Thank you.
How long did it take to scale to that?
2 years.
That's it?
Yeah.
Damn, 2 years? You were getting, what, 80, 90 cars a year?
Yeah. Yeah, with both of us working.
That's
it
nuts.
made it work, yeah.
How much capital did you need to get to that level?
So we used a lot of other people's money, right? So out of the 177 cars, there's only a certain amount that we actually own. We do a lot of, it's called co-hosting, where investors are actually able to put their cars on our fleet and everybody makes money.
Got it.
So when I learned that, and we learned that scaled things like 3x, because I wouldn't buy 177 cars, but to manage 177 cars with what we own is a lot better that way.
Right, because if you're buying it, it's going to be expensive if you're putting down 20% on each one, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, take a while to make your money back.
Right. I mean, I jumped in the game with just having good credit. I always took care of my credit, even though I didn't have any major ideas. So then when I found out about Turo, I bought 2 cars with my credit, 0 down.
Wow. And then which cars were those when you're starting out? It's probably on the cheaper side, right?
So I started with a small Honda HR-V, and then I started with the Lexus. But the Lexus, don't really recommend starting with Lexuses because you're paying for that type of car. So I would recommend to start with Hondas.
Yeah, I haven't heard many good things about Lexuses.
I started with a Lexus too, and I agree.
Do they break down a lot?
Well, it's just the value of the car, like the Lexus, like how much you're paying for a Lexus versus how much you get rent out. Like you could just do a Toyota, not spend as much money, and still make more money because people would rather get a Toyota than Lexus.
How do you guys feel about Teslas? Because when I was in Jersey, I rented one, and it was pretty cheap. I don't know how they make money, to be honest.
Yeah, they're just dropping the prices.
Yeah, it was like $40 a day.
To try to compete. So many people said, oh, I'm going to do Turo and buy Tesla. So now there'll be, how many Teslas are there in Turo?
Oh my
in
gosh,
Vegas?
there's so many Teslas in Vegas. They dropped the market, and a reason why I don't necessarily like Tesla right now is because if you look in the overall car market, Tesla's dropped like crazy. Everybody's been betting on Tesla, and maybe in the future, but when it comes to the rental car space, there's a high barrier of knowledge that someone needs to actually drive the car. It's not an easy thing. If you've never driven a Tesla and you go rent a Tesla, you don't know how to open the door.
Yeah, no, for real. Opening the door the first time is a process. And the regenerative brakes are like funky at first.
Yeah.
To
the brakes are like, it's just one of those cars. So I don't think Tesla's a good car to rent out. And they're very expensive when you have to fix the parts because it's hard. You have to wait a long time to get the parts now.
Yeah. Even the Cybertruck, we'll see how that does, but I don't know. It's gotten in a few accidents already.
Yeah, I think the Cybertruck will be good because it's like so scarce on how many there are out there. So initially, the people that have them running it up on the platforms like Turo are going to win. But in the long run, Tesla's value of their car has to kind of go up because it's just oversaturated with so many Teslas,
Especially if you got into business when the prices were high, and then after the price cuts, then your exit's going to be horrible. And then the repairs, there's a learning curve, right? So we had a guest who they put the charger wrong. It's $1,000 repair.
What?
Right away.
Did you put the charger in wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That is crazy. It seems like every brand is launching an electric car, right now?
Pretty much at this point.
But a lot of them are just flopping, it seems like.
Yeah, I think the people that are betting on EVs now in the early stages, I mean, they're going to have to come with anything that you bet on early stages, you're going to have to ride in ups and downs. But I think in the long term, that's what they're trying to switch everything to, EVs. But
why'd you guys pick San Diego and Vegas as your markets?
That's just where I was. And he was here in Vegas. Yep. I scaled to, I would say, around 60 cars. 60 cars. He was at around 50. And we had done some business together, so we joined our forces, and all the investors seen us doing it together. So that's how we scaled so fast after that. It was just compounding effect. Nice. Getting 15 cars here, 12 cars here. it was just insane.
I love it. And you guys recently raised $1 million in funding?
Yeah. So what we do is we help other businesses get money and get capital. So we have a client, and he's actually one of our locations in Florida, in Boca Raton, and we got him $1 million of funding. So we got him 5 vehicles. We got him Mercedes GT.
The GT.
Mercedes GT. We got him a Lucid. We got a BMW. We got about 5 cars that cost about $450,000. And then we got him something which is really cool. It's a $200,000 line of credit, and the cars, you don't have to hide that you're renting the cars out. They know it. And the cool thing on that is he can turn those cars back in, and it's like a lease model. So he got $200,000 on that, and then everything else was just liquid. So it's going to help us. It's going to help that side of our fleet in Florida going to scale. Right now out there, it's making like 25,000 a month.
Damn.
Just on 9 cars.
That's crazy.
And with these 4 extra cars, I'm thinking we're going to make an extra probably like $15K a month.
Holy crap. How were you able to get him that much? Did he have like bank statements or something?
Yeah, so he's been in the business. He was making $25,000 for every month for like 3 years. So it was a little bit easier. But the big thing when you're raising capital for rental car companies is, as soon as you tell them that's your rental car company, they're like, we're not going to give you a car. Like, we can't give you a car.
Too risky.
Yeah. And he already had 9 cars. So it's like, after you have 3 cars reporting your credit, the banks are like, well, what are you doing with this? Like, this is weird. No one has 9 cars, you know?
Some people do. Wes Watson does.
Yeah. So, like, other than that, like, there's a very small amount of people that do. So when they see that, they're like, okay, this is high risk.
Right.
And so it took about 2.5 months to get all of that funding.
That's good to know, because I'm looking to get more into cars, and I put one under my business. So does that matter at all if you have some under your personal and some under your business?
Yeah. So like the personal credit, there's like, even with credit cards and cars, right, there's only so much your personal credit can handle, right? Even if you make a lot of money, they're like, okay, well, this is still too risky. But when you put stuff in your business, that's almost like unlimited, because you have the ability to say, well, here's my revenue. I can get 3 cars, or I can get 4 cars. So I see it in the funding world, if you don't have a business in the long term, you're actually not going to get as much capital. So the car's smart in the business name.
The only downside is the interest, bro, because I heard on the business ones
crazy.
are higher. The commercial loans, dude, I paid 10% on mine.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, if I rented this out, I don't even know if I make money at this point.
They'll
10% interest, bro.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
There's nothing stopping you too from just creating more businesses as well. So
That's true.
Let's say you have one business and you max out the loans that you can get on there for the past 6 months. You still have to personal guarantee it, but then you can open another business and do the same thing. So, you know, there's some people, there's a fleet loan, you can get 4 cars at once. So if you have 4 LLCs, you get 16 cars right away in the business name.
And you can stack the 0% credit cards too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those people, I know someone that's gotten millions of dollars just making 40 LLCs and stacking 0% cards.
Bro, the 0% interest cards are great, because what I tell a lot of people now is like, we can actually just liquidate the funds and buy the cars, because in the Turo space, in the rental car space, if you default on your car for 2 months, they're going to come take it.
Wow,
right?
that quick?
Like, yeah, some are even quicker, but 2 months, they'll start saying like, okay, we need the car back. But if you take that 0% interest car, say if I got a 50,000 Chase Business Inc., I take that and I go buy a $25,000 car. I own the car. They can't take the car. Now you can mess your credit up with the credit card. I'm not telling you to do that, but you own the car still. So even if you mess the credit card up, you still get the car. Versus going to go get the auto loan, you're going to pay higher interest, and if you mess up, they're going to come take the car.
Yeah, I like the credit card strategy better, because you have 12 months, right, before the interest starts kicking in.
Yeah. Depends. I mean, we've had some, you see 19 months, no interest, so it's pretty solid.
Yeah, by the time 18 months rolls around, you already rented it out 100 times.
Exactly. When you have the title too, you have a lot of flexibility. I mean, we know some lenders with the title, they'll give you, if your car's $20,000, they'll give you $20,000 cash, and then you can do rinse and repeat that process.
Yeah. I like the business model, because if you're doing it the 0% way, I don't see much risk other than like people up your car, I guess, getting in accidents or getting your car stolen. You're smiling, so there's probably some stories there.
Yeah, we got a lot of stories with that. Are you going to tell them one of the good stories? Or
Yeah, one of the most recent ones, we have a BMW. It's a white one. We're running the economy play with it. So what that is, long-term rentals, rented out over a week. Usually they'll keep it a long time. He had the car around 6 months or 8 months, a long time. But then towards the end,
Are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
He just started ghosting me, and I was like, okay, well, this is what's gonna happen now. So then trying to find his location, he kept the car on for 2 weeks or 3 weeks because I have a kill switch on there, so I couldn't even shut off the car because it was on. So
Wait, he kept it on?
for 3 weeks.
What?
Just running it, sleeping in it, everything in the car.
How did the gas not run out?
He was pumping gas with it on.
Yo, what? Oh, so if he turned it off, he wouldn't have been able to turn it back on? Interesting. So you found him eventually?
Well, I kept sending tow trucks, and every time the tow truck would get closer, I'd just take off.
Wow.
This guy was
So
on
he's still
it.
on the run right now?
We got the car back.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know. Like, just like I'm like on the back end of the business. So he calls me. If he calls me, there's an issue. So he calls me like, "Yo, like we got to go get the car." I'm like, "Okay, well, why don't you just like bring?" So we brought 2 tow trucks at the end, and he still was like gonna drive off. And like, this is just gonna be unsafe, you know. Someone's gonna get hurt. So I was like, I don't want to get sued on this. So we eventually got it. But this guy for 3 weeks kept the car on. This we've never had somebody do this.
Damn. He must have been desperate. If he was living out of it, I could see why.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We saw a story like that on the news before, and we're like, oh, we kept it on for 2 weeks. That's crazy. And then it happened to us.
That's
We
nuts.
had 2 tow trucks box him in. He got away, and we were like, it's going to be way too dangerous. So I just had to play it cool and settle with him just to let go of the car.
Wow. And this was a Turo customer or private?
Private rental.
I heard those are riskier, right?
Yeah, it is riskier, but you're making 4 times the money.
Right. Because no Turo takes a cut, right? Or something.
Yeah, and then if you're on Turo, you're listed on there, you're competing with hosts who are listing their car at $30 a day. And my cheapest car is a small Honda. I'm renting it for $43 a day.
Yeah. I've just heard so many horror stories with the private rentals, man.
Yeah.
Like Hellcats getting stolen, cars getting shot up, like craziest stuff.
Yeah, I had a Hellcat stolen. They locked it in a storage unit in LA, and nobody was going to help me. I had to talk to the storage people, and they finally let me get it out, but it took days.
Wow.
Even though I had the registration and the key right there.
They probably just didn't want a lawsuit because with the storage things, you're not allowed to
go in.
enter, right? If you're not the owner.
Right.
Damn.
So they were gonna, and when they put them in like storage units, especially in California, they're gonna ship the car out. Like they're they're
another
just
country.
they're like, let's like send the car out. Like cars go to Mexico, they won't return. That's like the worst. Like if you're on the West Coast or you're like in Texas or the bordering states, that's like even on Turo. If your car goes to Mexico, highly unlikely
Yeah,
to
you're not
come
going.
back.
You're not going to Mexico to get that at that point.
Yeah, so most people get their cars taken at that
Damn.
point.
What's like the biggest red flags when you're dealing with potential clients?
So some of the biggest red flags is they don't have any documents, or they're trying to say, oh, I lost my license, here's a picture, or if they don't have insurance. There's a lot of people that will rent without insurance. They'll provide insurance, but you're risking a lot because if you have a lawsuit, it's going to go on your commercial policy if you have one, or if you're renting on personal. Let's say I just have personal insurance, I rent to someone super wrong, but then you're risking a lawsuit on your personal insurance, which is going to affect you forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. If someone showed me a photo of their ID, I probably wouldn't do it. Like, you know what I mean?
It's crazy. I mean, you see all types of things. People with fake IDs. I seen someone photoshopped a picture of themselves next to our car one time.
No way.
That's crazy.
What? Photoshopped?
Yeah. The
Yeah,
guy that photoshopped the ID in his hand.
Mhm.
He photoshopped the ID in his hand because he didn't have his
That's
ID.
hilarious. Dude, the fakes are so good these days. I don't even know. Like, you guys have a way to tell?
Yeah, so you want to tell them a little about
Yeah, so actually, with our own website, we actually have something that verifies insurance. So they can't fake insurance because they have to log into it, and it shows us like this is valid. So it will kick them out if it's fake.
Got it.
And we have something that checks the IDs. So
Wow.
same thing like when you like go scan your ID for like a lot of the apps right now or like the government stuff, it scans their ID and it makes it scan their face. So that really helps us. We just got that software and we put that on our website. So that's
smart.
key.
Yeah, that's so key because the fakes are so good, man. I used to have one and it scanned it too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Different level. That's a good fake.
Yeah, no, for real. What's the most expensive car you guys own right now?
For the Ferrari.
Ferrari California T,
Damn, how much is that?
2130.
Okay.
So, I mean, we like to diversify, but it's definitely, once you start getting into like 200K, 250K, and then it a lot of people's personal insurance is not covering all the way
Right.
up there. And we really just want to get volume. So
Yeah, so you found like a sweet spot. You're not dealing with like the high end exotic customer range.
exactly.
We have some. I mean, like in Florida, our location is like each location is like a different use. So like a lot of the San Diego cars we have for Uber, Lyft drivers. Vegas is still kind of more for tourists. And then you got Florida. We have the Ferrari. We have the AMG GT. So we'll make more money out there because it's warm year round, you know. So. Yeah, I think like each market is different, and that's like having 5 different locations makes it easier to say, okay, well, hey, this car's not doing good in Vegas, send it to San Diego. Like right now, we actually have somebody moving a car from San Diego all the way to our Alabama location.
Alabama.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, because the rental rates in Alabama are interesting because they'll pay for a Toyota Corolla or a Toyota Camry at a higher rate than Vegas, because we have like Vegas is very oversaturated. San Diego's oversaturated. But when you get into areas like Alabama, it's like there's only so many cars out in Montgomery.
Right. I've never even heard of that town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good market share. I mean, in San Diego, we were starting to put a lot of high end, including BMW i8, Hellcat, and then just being so close to the border next to LA. So many issues. i8 crashed after 4 rental trips.
Damn.
Hellcat stolen multiple times, impounded multiple times. So I was saying, okay, in San Diego, we're just gonna put a lot of economy cars, so we don't have to deal with so much of that.
Yeah,
and then
San
Miami
Diego's
is
wild.
more. Miami people go for luxurious vacations. We have Lucid as well, a Land Rover out there, so nicer luxury models.
I saw Lucid at Vegas Auto Gallery. What did you think of it?
Man, I haven't driven it yet.
Oh yeah.
Lucids are nice.
Yeah.
I like Lucids. The Tesla gang doesn't like Lucids, right? But I like Lucids. They're really nice. When you go up to it, you're like, okay, this is a very nice car. And that's like what you want in a higher end car. Even the dash inside of it, when you sit inside of it, is really nice compared to just like a regular Tesla or even some of the higher end Teslas. So I like Lucids. I think they're faster than Tesla. I'm not sure.
Wow.
We'll see.
It's quite the statement. That's going to cause some controversy.
Yeah, we'll see.
Any car brands you guys think are overrated?
Car brands that are overrated. I would say, I know the BMW i8, so many people try to get this car to rent it out. I think it's like one of the worst cars, right? One, it's very low. So the chances of it like bottoming out, like somebody hitting something, especially in Cali, is high. The second thing is, everybody I knew that has a BMW i8 has had it crashed, and to me, it's not a practical car. Like I think you can go get like a Corvette and still make money longer term than dealing with like a BMW i8. So I'm over with the i8s.
What about you, man?
Man, just seeing a lot of Turo hosts. We help a lot of Turo hosts with their business, so we see them, and the biggest thing would just be the Lexuses or luxury models like that. Acura, you're paying a premium. You pay $30,000 premium than you would, and you're not gonna get more money. So let's say a Toyota rents for $30, for example, and then you'll get $45 or $50 for an Acura or Lexus compared, and you're paying $30,000 premium at the dealership.
Right. So you're looking at it purely just from a numbers point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like it's like low grade luxury, like Lexuses and stuff. And when you finance a Lexus, here's the thing that people don't understand. Every dealership is different on how they finance and lease cars. When you go to a Lexus, like you're gonna lease a car or finance is $800+ versus going to, this is why there's so many BMWs. If you really think about it, when you go to BMW, they have a better way to lease their vehicles. So you'll be able to get a BMW a lot of times cheaper than getting a Lexus.
Oh.
And more people are brand anonymous, especially younger people, are going to look at BMW versus Lexus. So I think Lexus isn't a good brand to rent out at all.
When it comes to, go ahead.
I think you're better off buying a Mercedes with the same markups you're going to pay. You could get a Mercedes and you're going to get a much higher rate.
I feel that. When it comes to that debate of financing versus leasing, where do you guys stand on that?
So I think, when you look at the business, the big key in this business is people need to understand that we're actually flipping cars, right? We're not really focused just on how much we're going to make when we rent it. I focus a lot, okay, how do we buy the vehicles, right? So I like leasing. Most companies don't let you unless you do that like $200,000 line of credit. I like it because the car's depreciation, as soon as you drive it off the lot, when you finance it and it's new, it just plummets, right? It just goes down. You're losing instant money, right? Instant equity. So I also like, the only reason why people don't like leasing and why I never liked it at first was because there's a mileage cap. So people are like, well, what am I going to do if the car's over mileage? But there's multiple ways to get a lease. You can sell it back. I sold my BMW back to BMW and they bought it and I didn't have to pay anything. I didn't turn it in early.
Wow.
You could turn the vehicle in, or you can swap a lease on where you can literally have someone take over your lease. So I like it because there's multiple exits of that vehicle versus when you finance a vehicle, you're going to have to hold on to that car or you could sell it.
Yeah.
There's not many options. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. So even if you're over mileage, you could still trade it in or swap it.
Yeah.
With no penalty.
Yeah. So what people need to do is when they go to the dealership, they don't need to go say, hey, I'm turning the lease in early, because they're going to be like, okay, well, you owe us money. You just say, hey, I'm selling the car to you guys. And I didn't know that. I actually made $5,000 on selling my Honda at the time to CarMax.
Wow.
I leased it and they're like, yeah, we're going to buy the rights and we're going to buy the car from you and we'll give you this. And I was like, yo, because if I had turned that car in, I would have had to pay $4,000 because it was over mileage.
That's a good hack right there. Wow.
Yeah.
That's bars, man. I had no idea. Because I used to lease cars and I always worried about the mileage. I was like, I got to stay under. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know how much they were going to charge.
Yeah, you don't. You go there, they're like, all right, you're back. Like, all right, you owe us like $3,000. You're like, okay, and you're already there.
Yeah.
So,
for real. What about you, man? Any car hacks?
So speaking about financing versus leasing, I agree with the leasing, because a lot of people jump into the business and they get an exotic car or a higher end car and they finance it. But you have to think that you're locked into this for 5 years. And right away, especially higher end cars, are going to lose value very, very fast. And when there's an accident, the insurance only pays you out what it's worth. So let's say you still owe 100 grand on that loan, but the car is now worth 70 grand. You're going to have to pay the 30 grand. So that's a huge thing that I see a lot. That's a huge mistake that I see a lot.
Yeah. When you guys deal with accidents, have you seen the insurance companies come through?
Man, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's hit or miss.
So it's very, very, you have to have everything down to a T. But once you get that, then it's pretty much smooth. But also they're always changing. Or you can deal with, right now we're dealing with one and they're saying, oh, we have an administrative hold. We're not paying for anything right now.
Wow.
So, a lot of money, nearly 6 figures right now, just in holds right now. Damn.
And they're one of the biggest companies. It's called, what is it, Lula? I think it's
For
called,
insurance.
yeah, it's for insurance. And a lot of people utilize that for rental cars. But right now they're dealing with some, internal things where they are like, well, we don't know when we can pay you guys out and all these different things. So, and because the way they do it is they're not actually an insurance company. They're more of a broker. So they're like more like a middleman, which is smart. But they're in a situation now that if the insurance company actually doesn't pay anybody, then everybody's paying insurance to Lula for how many months. So yeah, rental car insurance is very difficult to get.
So moving forward, recommend you find an insurance broker and tell them your exact needs. That's what we've done in our newest locations, and that's worked the best because you find an insurance broker, they have ways to look for insurance that you don't, and they can find something that's tailored to the rental car company.
And do you put all the cars under one insurance policy?
So it depends either on location or the way we're set up. If we're not big enough at that location, then we'll put it on another one. But once it gets big enough, then we'll put it onto its own policy.
Right. And what's the price based off of, like, for the monthly payments?
Value and, if it's a commercial policy or if you're doing a cheaper policy. If the car's just on Turo, then you could do a lower policy.
Yeah.
There's some that are $50 a month. You just put it on Turo, but you're not having that much protection.
Dude, the insurance on the G-Wagon is crazy.
Oh yeah, that's hard.
I was not used to that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Because when you buy a car, you don't even think about it. I mean, you guys do, obviously, but just a normal person just doesn't even factor that in.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, wait, what? Especially Vegas. We have higher insurance in Vegas because I guess all the crashes and stuff. So
I see a crash every day here.
Bro.
People don't know how to drive in Vegas.
Bro, it's crazy.
I literally drive so, carefully.
Me too.
I don't know who's drunk. I don't know, what's going on behind me.
Yeah.
I have the auto drive on my Tesla. I don't even use it.
Oh yeah, I don't use auto drive out here. I don't do any of that. Like in Cali, you might be able to get away when you're on the freeway so long. In Vegas, I don't use any of that. You literally have to be focused on the road, and that's why our insurance rates are so high. We have bars everywhere. Somebody hit one of the cars that I was in near my house, which is like in a residential area. There's a little bar, and I went to a store nearby, and the guy was drunk, and he came out and hit the car, and I'm just like, Bro, he's like stumbling.
Yeah, we got to be one of the highest states.
Yeah.
Because of the strip. The strip, people are just blacking out and then driving home.
Yeah.
Any markets you got an eye on right now?
To expand. I think the Florida market and the Miami market is really enticing. A lot of people try to go out there and do it. They don't really make it because they don't have any market share. But I think that's where we're focused on. We have some real estate out there as well. So I'm pretty excited about what we're doing because we made with 9 cars making 25,000 on Turo it's not easy.
It's not.
For 2 years. So I'm like, okay, we can put more into this. Even our Alabama location, because our numbers are better. Yeah. We're actually like looking into like, smaller markets like the Alabama and the Florida market. The bigger markets like Vegas and San Diego, I'm like trying to stay away from.
Our race to the bottom in the bigger cities just because there's so many people that heard about it. They want to come in. They're not making any money. They're desperate to pay their car payments. So they're putting a Tesla at $30 a day, just hoping to make the payment.
Yeah, my jaw dropped when I was even in Jersey it was cheap. I don't know if that's considered a big markup, but yeah, $40 a day. That's crazy. That's right? So low. Like they're literally losing money on there.
That's so low, especially on Turo. And the big thing is like when we look at like the rental car market, and this is why we do private rentals, and I like it. Turo has a small market share. Like every business has a market share, right? They have a very small market share inside of the big market, which is where we're competing with Enterprise and Hertz. When you compete with them, it's a different ball game. Enterprise is making a lot more money than a lot of people on Turo, even just for their daily rates. And we can have a Tesla on Turo versus getting like a Camry on Enterprise, and the Camry, they're going to make more money because Enterprise has everything figured out already.
They have airport locations.
Huge airport locations. When you need your car fixed and you're at a reputable body shop, they're going to say, hey, and you're running through insurance? Well, we got a rental car. It's just down the street for you. Like it's through Enterprise.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
So that's like another tip is like when we go to local body shops and we go to local wrap shops and we just say, hey, listen, if you have somebody that needs a car, we have a bunch of cars. We can break bread together because I'll bring it to your people.
Yeah, give them a little cut. That's actually brilliant.
Yeah, that's huge.
Not only that, you have the space too. Some places will let you. That's how we're doing it in Alabama, partnering with a mechanic shop, and they have a lot of space. So we take care of their customers, and they let us park our cars there.
That's smart. Yeah, I know some people out here park their cars like on the strip, like in casino parking lots. It's kind of weird, right?
I actually I had a slingshot that I had in Vegas, and I couldn't keep it out the house because it was uncovered. It was raining, and I parked it in the Palazzo parking garage, bro, for like 2 weeks at a time. Like when it wasn't rented. And they used to tag it sometimes. And I was just thinking that today, because they actually put where you have to pay now at the Palazzo. And I'm like, man, I would have paid a lot of money just to keep this car down here.
There's very few free parking out here now.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It used to be always free for locals.
Yeah, now it's like, nope.
$20 for 3 hours.
Literally.
Even at the Wynn now, you got to pay.
And then a lot of them actually took away the local thing too. So you still
the ID?
Yeah, like no ID. I'm like, come on, man.
They're getting us everywhere. The gambling proceeds weren't enough for you guys. People are losing their lives gambling.
It's just like every business, like how do we get money more and more ways? And it's just like, oh, we just set up pay for parking.
Yeah. You guys do a little Airbnb also?
Yeah, so we've set up around, 3 in Miami. How many do we have in Vegas now?
So we have 4 in Vegas.
I thought they banned it here.
Yeah, so they haven't banned it. It's just different laws that you have to work around in Vegas or have to go through. If you own real estate, it's a little bit different. And we do some short-term rentals that are like, it's not technically short-term, but it's 30 days. And in the eyes of what they say, it's 28 days in most places. So if you're renting out 30 days, you're not violating certain laws. So yeah, the Airbnb space is pretty cool. It's comparable to the rental car space. And what we do is you can rent our car and you can rent our Airbnb.
Smart.
Yeah.
Little bundle package.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Miami though, we just got 3 units, working on a 4th, and then we have some big projects lined up that are going to be very excited to see.
Nice. Which market excites you guys more, the car rental or Airbnb?
I like real estate. I actually got my real estate license at 18.
Wow.
And so I was deciding between, at the time, like Airbnb or Turo. The barrier to entry for Turo was a lot smaller, economical, but the laws. So I got into that space. And so we basically, like my goal is we funnel as much money back into real estate. It's something that's not going to go away. And when you buy a car, here's the thing. When you buy a car, it's going to depreciate unless you buy one of one or one of 100, right? When you buy real estate, it still depreciates theoretically, but it still goes up and appreciates. So I get to write off the depreciation and I get to still make money more every single year.
It's an asset rather than a car is a liability, right?
Yeah, and like even if you get the car and it's making you money, it's a depreciating asset that eventually I can only have a car for so long before it goes away.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, each thing we've learned is this social currency. So we started with the car rental business, and you can enter as low as $5,000. We have cars that we bought for $3,500. We bought for $3,500, and we're renting them out, and they can make anywhere from $225 to $250 a week, which is not bad if your entry is $3,500.
Yeah.
But the same investors that helped us buy those cars are telling, look, we've done good business in the cars. We have these Airbnb projects, and then that's a social currency. Now you're able to raise more capital, and once you can raise the capital, then real estate's no brainer.
Yeah, social currency is huge, and you need it. Look what Grant Cardone did.
Yeah,
raised $4 billion.
Yeah.
I love it. Guys, it's been fun. Anything you want to promote or close off with?
Yeah, so if you guys are we basically teach people how to use popular side hustles, whether it's Turo, whether it's Airbnb, whether it's trading to get more social currency, to provide more value and to get investors. All of the businesses that we started, I didn't go to the banks. I went directly to people that I knew that already knew what we were doing. So if you guys want to get in it, we have a group where it's $21.99 a month. I made it economical, and all you got to do is text the word social to 702-602-6399. Again, 702-602-6399. And I have a free ebook basically showing how we started all these businesses with under $1,500.
Sick. We'll link it below. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Cool.
Thanks for watching as always. See you next time.